Welcome to Readathon Quarter Challenge, where we are aimed for reading one book summary per day and to enhance our wisdom and take actions. On this journey, we came to the name of the book, The Mastery of Love, written by Don Miguel Ruiz. The Mastery of Love was written by Don Miguel Ruiz. Let us have small information about Don Miguel Ruiz. Miguel and Angel Ruiz Macias, better known as Don Miguel Ruiz, is a Mexican author of Toltec spiritualist, a Mexican author of Toltec spiritualist and neo-shamanistic texts. Don Miguel Ruiz is a renowned spiritual teacher and internationally best-selling author of the Toltec Wisdom series, including the Four Agreements. The four agreements are very powerful. I'll cover in the end of this book summary. Until then, you take digital notes. The Mastery of Love, The Voice of Knowledge, The Circle of Fire, and the Fifth Agreement. The Toltec Wisdom books have sold over 12 million copies and have been published in 46 languages worldwide. His work is best received among the members of the New Thought movement that focuses on ancient teachings as a means to achieve spiritual enlightenment. Here is the brief synopsis of the book. In The Mastery of Love, Don Miguel Ruiz eliminates the fear-based beliefs and assumptions that undermine love and lead to suffering and drama in our relationships. Using insightful stories to bring his message to life, Ruiz shows us how to heal our emotional wounds, recover the freedom and joy that are our birthright. Recover the freedom and joy that are our birthright and restore the spirit of playfulness that is vital to loving relationships. So the Mastery of Love includes four concepts: why domestication and the image of perfection leads to self-rejection, the war of control that slowly destroys most relationships, the war of control that slowly destroys most relationships, why we hunt for love in others and how to capture the love inside us, and finally, how to finally accept and forgive ourselves and others. These are the four concepts that we are going to learn from this book, The Mastery of Love. Let's get started. With a small quotation said by Don Miguel Ruiz, happiness can only come from inside of you. Happiness can only come from inside of you and is the result of your love. When you are aware that no one else can make you happy, and that happiness is the result of your love, this becomes the greatest mastery of the Toltec, the mastery of love, said by Don Miguel Ruiz. Let us come to lesson-based learnings. I request you to take lots of digital notes and share your learnings in the Leader Lifestyle Hub. Lesson number 1. Life is full of many unexpected twists. Life is full of many unexpected twists and turns that everyone must learn to navigate. To introduce you to the values that the Toltec inspires, Ruiz describes a young man who was captivated by the words of a guru. This young man had a strong urge to invite the guru to his home. Once the guru accepted his invitation, the man got to work and got the finest food and finest clothes and wine to offer him. However, to his disappointment, the master, his guru, did not show up. Instead, three strangers on three different occasions came knocking the door. And on each occasion, the young man fed them and clothed them with the food, wine, and clothes, whatever he had prepared for his master. At the end of the day, the man realized that the propensity to give out what he prepared for a special guest to strangers, total strangers, was in fact an act of kindness that the master would have expected from an astute student like him. So life is full of many unexpected twists and turns that everyone must learn to navigate. As such, the young man's disappointment disappeared and he reveled in the fact that he had put words into actions. He had put words into actions. In essence, he had become a master since the words of the Guru lived in him and he had learned to act on them. Like this man is this in this parable, you too are a master. You have created different versions of yourself that define you see and react to other people. Depending on the classification of the people around us fall into, we project a specific personality or the image that we have created to deal and communicate with such people. People only see the version of you that you want them to see. People only see the version of you that you want them to see. Keep reading to understand how you can become a better version of yourself regardless of what is going on around you. As you move on from one chapter to the next, you will realize the effects that emotionally hurt can have, how can you master your emotions. So you will realize the effects that emotionally hurt can have and how you can master your emotions. Let us see the lesson number 2. Your mastery of anything depends on the choices you make. Your mastery of anything depends on the choices you make. You determine your mastery, and in most cases, we master anger, envy, jealousy, and other negative behaviors. And this slowly became who we are. The same way you have mastered all these negativities, you have to master love. Still, many find it hard to accomplish this feat because of the hurt they feel or the belief that it is impossible. The difficulty in the mastery of positive traits stems from the fact that we have taught ourselves to conform to the norm of our society. When you are a child, you are always laughing and you are always smiling. Imagine when you are a child, you are always laughing. You make friends so easily and you hardly bothered about the past or the future. But as you grow older, your parents and your family, in the name of education, started to mold your mind to align to a particular standard. The punishment and reward system bends our will. It tells us how to dream and how to behave. And in the end, we grow to become a shell of the carefree and joyous child that we once were. Alas, what we are left with is fear. Fear of being ignored or fear of getting rejection. And this manifests in different ways. It leads us to master those negative attributes and we shield ourselves from the truth by believing in a lie. This is the powerful statement. Write down the notes or take it as a digital note. Fear is the enemy of the growth. Fear is the enemy of the growth. We believe in these lies to the extent that they become our truth. More so, we create excuses to back up these lies, and down the line, we slowly forget about our true nature. Lesson number 3. The loss of innocence drives you to punish yourself for not being perfect. Perfectionism is not a term a child will naturally give meaning to. As a child, you were hardly aware of how the world perceived you or your place in your society. All that mattered was expending your energy on doing what you wanted to do, the things that were fun. However, your relationship with your parents, your siblings, and other adults taught you something that there are things the world expects from you. And so the idea of perfection slowly poisoned you as you started to align your thoughts and actions to believe that were imposed on you. As a person grows older, they lose their innocence and find it hard to do away with the societal beliefs. This distorts a person's capacity to love, and what they have left is a poisoned mind that often reveals in the standards set for you by others. The same mind limiting framework governs the way you relate with others. If an individual had an abusive relationship with their parents, they might find themselves gravitating towards abusive relationships. The susceptibility to crave abuse is a result of poisoned mind, as they have come to believe that being abused is the only way to get attention, or it is the only way to remember that they deserve to be punished for not being good enough. The susceptibility to crave abuse is a result of poisoned mind, as they have come to believe that being abused is the only way to get attention, or it is the only way to remember that they deserve to be punished for not being good enough. Relationships must have their foundation in true love. Relationships must have their foundation in true love and not in the need to get someone to validate your actions or make you happy. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Decide what you want. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. In the essence, someone that claims to love you should not shoulder the responsibility to make you feel good. If you cannot teach yourself to cherish your joy, you will discover that the people you depend on for your daily slice of happiness will one day let you down. Happiness comes from within, and you will discover that relationships do not last because we subject our happiness to the actions or inactions of the people we love. Happiness comes from within, and you will discover that relationships do not last because we subject our happiness to the actions or inactions of the people we love. Lesson number 4. The quality of any relationships depends on the attitude of all the parties involved. Many confuse love for fear because the narrative that everyone interacts majorly for companionship hides our true intent. Love does not depend on obligation or expectations. On the other hand, it is fear that drives you to demand that the people you claim to love to conform to a particular standard. You expect them to act and in a certain way. You ask that they do something so you too could have a reason to reciprocate. Also, love is respect. You should not go all out of control, out to control or change the people you love. You should not go all out to control or change the people you love. Furthermore, love is always kind. In contrast, fear drives you to anger, which is basically a mask of for fear itself. Anger is a mask of fear itself. Love embraces responsibility. If you truly love someone, you will never shy away from the responsibilities that the relationship places on you. Likewise, love is unconditional. There is no reason to be ashamed of the people you claim to love. You do not judge them or look for justifications to tie your feelings to. We love the things we love for what they are. Robert Frost said like this: we love the things we love for what they are. We love the things we love for what they are. You will only love a man or a woman that you don't feel the need to change or improve. Remember that love is unconditional. Therefore, you must identify the strengths and the weakness or flaws of your partner and accept them as it is. Remember that love is unconditional, and therefore you must identify the strengths and flaws of your partner and accept them. Love thrives when two people with matching preferences and goals come together. Also, do not project your sadness on your spouse. Realize that everyone has his, her, or her own baggage, and so carry yours. Realize that everyone has his or her own baggage of sadness, and so carry yours. However, this kind of love is embedded in self-discovery. You cannot choose the right person when you do not know who you are and the things you cherish. You will also find it difficult to accept your spouse for who he or she is if you are yet to accept yourself. Lesson number 5. To ensure a happy relationship, one has to go into it for only the right reasons. People get addicted to love because they go into relationships for all the wrong reasons. They know what loneliness and rejection mean. Therefore, as soon as they get a sniff of love, irrespective of who it is coming from or the person's intentions, they jump at it. This type of love is devoid of analysis mentioned in the previous chapter, as the major motivator is the fear of being alone. This same fear will spur such people to become obsessive. They are scared of returning to their state of loneliness, and so they hold on for their dear life. Instead of loving out of fear, the author advised that you first take the step to love yourself. Self-love will help you cherish being alone, which will stop you from jumping into a relationship for the wrong reasons. Once you learn to love and respect yourself, it becomes difficult to settle for less. It becomes clear to you that relationships should emanate from a desire to want and not a survival instinct that propels neediness. However, in most cases, we tend to gravitate towards the latter. It is not like we are oblivious to our mistakes, but we hide from the truth. Though we have the capacity to redesign our beliefs, we often remain in the same state because the things that have held us captive have their roots in our mind. We see the consequences of our decisions and we decide to wallow in our suffering just because we think that we cannot do better or because we don't want others to see our flaws. Regardless of how much suffering you have learned to withstand, you can heal, you can master your flaws and fears, and you can change your entire story. To become responsible for your own happiness, you need to master your fears and subject your reactions and decisions to scrutiny, mastery of transformation. This entails putting away the lies you have used to mask your pain, find the source, and take action to correct them. You have to become responsible for your own happiness, and you ought to change yourself before you attempt to change the world. This is a powerful statement. You have to become responsible for your happiness. You have to become responsible for your happiness. You ought to change yourself before you attempt to change the world. Lesson number 6. Healing is rooted in self-love and truth. Healing is rooted in self-love and truth. It is impossible to heal without accepting who you are. Your definition of a perfect body has always been influenced by external factors. As a result, you often see yourself through the eyes of others. You ask them for validation, and their judgment determines how you rate your body. Whereas the only person you should seek validation from is you. You have to learn to love your body and accept it in its entirety. The relationship you have with yourself influences your confidence and how you relate with your spouse. If you believe that your body is not good enough, then you will likely fall into the temptation of thinking that you are not good enough for your partner. If you have the ability to love yourself first, said by Charles Bukowski. Charles Bukowski says that if we have the ability to love yourself first, when you start loving yourself more, it starts getting easier to see the truth. Also, it becomes easy to block those lies that people keep telling you. They tell you that you are not capable, that you are a failure, that you will never achieve socially imposed goals. All these are lies. And the second step of healing is, as the author puts it, seeing through them. Likewise, you should uncover the truth to those lies you have always used to limit your growth. The next stage of healing is forgiveness. First stage is self-love. Second stage is uncover the truth of those lies. Third stage of healing is forgiveness. Now your truth has changed the way you see the things. You have come to know why you are hurting and the person or people to blame. Whoever those people are. Forget about whoever those people are. Even if you are the source of your hurt, you owe it to yourself to forgive so you could become whole. Forgive yourself. Forgive those who have wronged you, and also seek forgiveness from those whom you have wronged. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes of yourself and seek forgiveness that might have hurted others. And also forgive others who had made mistakes in your life. Only then you will transcend the illusion that you had to believe about yourself and the world around you. You become wise not by acquiring knowledge, but by seeking the truth and living by the truth. Did you know Many years ago, the Toltec were referred to as people of knowledge. They were skilled men and women who came together to study the practices of the ancient ones. Here comes the conclusion. There are few things that you have the power to change. There are few things that you have the power to change, and one of them is you. Only you can choose to see the truth. Only you can choose to see the truth when the world tries to feed you lies and illusions. You can master your body and your mind, define your own goals, and you can stop letting other people set them for you. Your emotions are valid. The hurt, the excitement, the sadness, and everything in between are important. If you feel any emotion, you should take the time to analyze and address it as soon as possible. Your thoughts are also valuable and you should never talk down on yourself. You should never talk down on yourself. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes you might be met with disappointment, heartbreak, or other traumatic events. Remember that these happenings do not define you, and you still have the power to choose your truth. Others might try to hurt you, but you decide whether or not you will allow them to get to you or. So others might try to hurt you, but you decide whether or not you will allow them to get to you. So study yourself deeply and determine what works for you. Understand how you can break free of your past hurts or disappointments, sufferings, and choose yourself in many situations always. If someone or somewhere keeps draining your energy, find a way to remove yourself from that situation. Here comes the action time. Write a list of things or write a list of memories that hurt you or those that still haunting you, keep chasing you. Trace these memories or the events to a source and work on forgiving the people that you believe caused them. Remember that you can be the source of your heart. You can be the source of your heart. Forgive yourself too. Practice the forgiveness technique for at least 2 minutes today and release all the negative baggage that you carry forward from the long time. Thank you so much. See you in another book summary. Until then, stay connected, keep progressing.